Hey everybody, my name is Gianna. I just came back from the Disney College program in Disneyland. Before I applied for that program, I was looking online everywhere to find videos comparing the Walt Disney World program to the Disneyland College program. I could never find a video, and now that I have finished both programs, I wanted to make one so that anybody that's trying to decide between coasts. I did my first college program in Walt Disney World in spring 2016. I was accepted for merchandise and I was placed in Big Top Souvenirs in the Magic Kingdom. I did my second college program in Disneyland in spring of 2017. I was accepted for attraction. 5 days before my move-in date, I got a call saying attractions was full and that they were gonna put me in parking or retail, and that I got my pick and I picked retail. I did my program in New Orleans and Critter Country stores. All right, let's just get on into it then, huh? So I loved both of my college programs. They are extremely different from each other. So I wanted to highlight some of the differences and similarities. Everything that I talk about is gonna be my personal experience throughout both of my college programs. I'm not gonna talk a lot about the stuff that you can find on Disney's site or anything. The big three components in the college program are living, earning, and learning. So I'm gonna break those down and talk about what it's like on each coast. So we'll start with living. When you go to Disneyland in Anaheim, you live in Carnegie. Carnegie is beautiful. You get your own washing machine. You got hardwood floors. It's very, very, very nice. It's also very expensive, which is fine because either program you do, you're gonna be broke, probably. I lived in Carnegie with 5 girls, 2 bedrooms, and I was paying $149.50 a week. The good thing about Carnegie is that everybody's in the same spot. It's in a really nice location in downtown Anaheim. There are really cute shops on the streets and places to eat, and at night there are little lights that hang, and it's kind of beautiful. And it's nice to walk around there. Every Thursday there's a farmer's market. There's a really awesome place called the Packing House right behind Carnegie. It has some seriously amazing food in there, and that's where a lot of people went to eat all the time. Packing House rules. They had really good Indian food. I loved it there. So it felt like you were living in California. It didn't feel like you were living in the Disney bubble, which was nice to have that separation. In Disney World, there are 4 housing complexes. I lived in Vista Way. I know it has a reputation for being sort of like a party complex, but me and my roommates didn't feel that way. It was nice. We didn't get a refurbed apartment, which was okay. It was 3 bedroom and 6 girls, but one of our girls moved out and then it was 5 of us. So 3 bedroom, 5 girls. And we were paying $99 a week, which is a big difference from what I was paying in California. We did have a refrigerator in our living room, which was kind of weird. It never worked and it always kind of smelled like a dead animal, which was gross. The security in Carnegie is like non-existent. You can do whatever, really. Mostly when I think about the security, I think about sign-ins, because the biggest pain in Disney World was having to sign somebody in every time they came to visit. In Disneyland, you don't have to do that. So Disneyland is just one building. Anybody can go in, anybody can come out. There's no security desk or anything like that. You do have to scan a card to get into the building, but there's no security there at the building or anything like that. In Disney World, before you enter your complex, there is a security checkpoint. Anybody that's coming in that's not college program has to have their ID scanned, fill out a form, and it's a big to-do. I brought my cars to both programs. I live in Chicago, so I was kind of in the middle of both coasts. In California, I used my car maybe 1 time, and that's like being generous. I wish that somebody had told me not to bring it, because you don't need it. Most of the college program participants in California are local. A lot of them already have their car. So if you need a ride to class, for example, you can totally find somebody who's also going to the same class as you. The only places I could think that you would need a ride to would be if you were going to LA or doing something far away, going to class. There's really great public transportation there, and you get comped $1 every day that you take the bus. So I took the bus to work every day, and every day I could claim $1 from Disney. So at the end of the program, I got that money back, which was really cool. It's really close to Disneyland, so the buses, it was never a bad ride, except for one time there was a man with a blowtorch on the bus, a lit blowtorch, and I had to get off and get an Uber to work. But besides that, Bus system was great. In Disney World, I used my car every single day. The bus system there is nice, but it's also kind of janky, and on my program, the J bus like exploded. I don't think anybody was hurt, but it was scary. And I drove my car to work every day, and I liked it that way because housing there is a little bit further, so it was easier to have a car. Plus, housing in Disney World, you're kind of far from everything. If you want to go get groceries or food, you have to take a car. In Disneyland, if you want to get groceries, you can just walk down the street, which is nice. If you get termed or decide to self-term in Disneyland, you owe them the rest of your rent for the duration of the time that you will not be there. That is a huge thing for a lot of people that they don't know, because in Disney World, if you term, you can just leave. You have to be out by the next day, but you can just go. If you get termed in Disneyland, you get 7 days to evacuate the premises. In Disney World, if you get termed, you have till 11 a.m. the next day. I believe it's 11 a.m. And you don't owe any money. One of the biggest differences between the two programs for me was in Disneyland, you spend a lot of your time hanging out in California with your friends, which is really cool. But for me, I felt like less time in the parks because the parks are small. It's hard to do them every single day like you do in Florida. So for my program in Florida, I left property maybe twice in the 4 months that I was there. In the Disneyland college program, the events and the backstage magic, tours of ride or Walt's apartment, those are all curated by the college program staff. In Disney World, if you want to do a tour of a ride, that goes through your lead. So like that's your work group that would be doing something like that. When I was in Disney World, we never did a tour of anything the whole time I was there. When we were in Disneyland, I got to do so much stuff. I got to do Radiator Springs Racers, and there was an opportunity for everyone to go see Beauty and the Beast at the studios. Before it opened, we got a tour of the studios, which was unreal. That made the program worth it for me. Another good thing is that the grocery bingo that they have on both coasts, things like that at Carnegie, that was all in your building. It was right there. In Disney World, sometimes those happened at other apartment complexes, so you would have to get a ride. The next component is the learning component, and I think that this is really important because a lot of people don't know that in Disneyland, it's mandatory that you take a class to be involved in the college program. I took a blended learning seminar, and I really think it was one of the most pointless things I've ever done. Me and all of my roommates hated going. Every time we would leave, it was like, what did I learn? It was pretty pointless. It was unorganized. If you miss 3 classes, you get terminated. From the program, you have to pay the rest of your housing fees, and then you gotta get out, which sucks. In Disney World, the classes are optional. I did take Disney Heritage. I took the early years, and I really loved it. I thought it was super interesting. It was only 4 classes, and I thought that I had learned a lot, so I liked that I got to do that. And if you don't show up to that class, they just drop you from the class. Moving on to the earning component. Everybody will tell you in your college program, you're gonna be broke, and you're probably gonna be broke. There are ways around it, and I saved on both of my programs, but the money that I wasn't saving was gone very quickly. And that's just because you're surrounded by so many awesome things all the time that you wanna do. It's hard to not spend money on things when you have endless opportunity and you don't know when you're gonna do that. When you apply to the Disney College program, if you get into Walt Disney World, you pay $350. Before you can do anything, you have to pay the $350 to accept your offer. In Disneyland, you have to pay $1,000 to accept your offer. $200 of that comes back to you at the end if you successfully finish your program. Another thing about the programs is Disney World accepts a lot more people than Disneyland. Being in Disney World, you feel like you're in a community with the other college program kids. And you feel that in Disneyland as well, but a lot less because there's very few college program participants in land, and there are so many college program participants in World. When I was working in Disneyland, I was getting 25 to 30 hours a week, which was very little to live off of. That was hard. In Disney World, I never had a week in the program where I wasn't scheduled at least 40 hours. One of the hardest things for me and the biggest difference between the two programs is when I was working in Big Top in World, all of my coworkers were college program kids. It was so much fun because all of us were going through the same thing. A lot of us lived in the same place and we would drive each other home and we would always go out to dinner every night. And that like really gave you a sense of community because everybody was feeling the same feelings a lot of the time. In Disneyland, when I was working in New Orleans and Critter Country, there were 5 college program participants, myself, and I was the only college program participant in my area that was living in Carnegie. There were 2 locals and there were 2 international college program kids. One of the coolest things about the Disneyland college program is you get 3-year seniority when you start with CP status, which is really cool because you get good shifts. In Disney World, my normal shift would start at 4:30 and end at 1 in the morning. Having the ability to get better shifts and morning shifts was really awesome in Disneyland. I'm not gonna say one college program was better than another. I did really enjoy my time at both. I'm gonna make separate videos talking about my time at each program and how I termed from Disneyland will be another video as well. Another thing that I really loved about Disneyland is that we got 16 passes to bring people in. As soon as we started working, we got them. So each pass could bring in 3 people, but if you used one for one person, it would be used for all 3. So you got 16 chances, 16 days to bring people in, and you could use them whenever, which was really awesome because in Disney World, when I did my program, you got 1 ticket for one person when you started as like a thank you for joining the company ticket. And then after you worked a set amount of hours, I think it was 150, you got 3 tickets. So like 3 more people could come in. And then you have to work another set of hours and you got your next set of 3 tickets. And because I did the spring program, I was only there for 4 months. So I only ever got 2 sets of 3 tickets. So I got 7 tickets in total with the welcome ticket in Disney World. And then in Disneyland, right off the bat, I got 16 tickets, which was really cool. In Disneyland, during my college program, they just implemented not giving away shifts. So you couldn't give your shift away for nothing, you had to trade it for something, which I understand they're doing because CPs like to not work and then reap the benefits of working at Disney. But one of my favorite things during my college program in Disney World was that I could give my shifts away at last moment and do whatever I wanted. I think that's what the college program is about, having as much fun as you can while you're there. But sometimes I would end up with paychecks that were literally $1. So maybe it was better that I worked more in California. Both of my college programs, I met my roommates on Facebook. So I would highly recommend joining a Facebook page if you're thinking about applying or if you are applying and talking to people, because I met some of the greatest people that way, and you meet people on the Facebook page that you're friends with for the rest of your college program, which is really cool. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I have more videos on the way. I'm gonna make a video about my college program in Walt Disney World and my college program in Disneyland and how I ended up terming. Woo. And that is just the beginning. So we'll see where this takes us. If you guys wanna see anything, please let me know in the comments. Okay, this was awesome. I can't wait to see you again soon.